What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is March 19th, 2026, the start of the NCAA tournament for the men's basketball tournament that's going on. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's on with me today. He is going to be writing for the Portland Fire, which is the inaugural team, one of two teams that is going to be joining the WNBA in its 30th season. The other team is a team that I'm hopefully going to be writing for, the Toronto Tempo, which is also going to be joining the WNBA in its 30th season. His name is Brenden Potts, and we're going to be talking to him about his why of getting into sports journalism, but also ask him some get to know you questions and have some fun. So without any further ado, I introduce my man, Brenden. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me, and yeah, man. I'm excited to get this conversation going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And listen, Brenden, I'm happy to have you on. And my first question to you is the same as it always is with everybody that hops on this podcast. And that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations maybe growing up? But ultimately, what is your why for wanting to get into the sports media industry?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. My journey into sports media, into sports writing is not like the other people that you follow. None of the big names, none of the names that go through the schooling and whatnot.
Right.
I started because I wanted to follow my favorite team at the time, the Seattle Storm, and I wanted to honestly I needed college credit for my degree, and the sports writing was the path that I was brought into, and I
Hmm.
just loved. I got enough positive feedback in it to where I considered it to be something that I could do in the future, and turn it into what it is now. But I I found through experience that I love. Whenever I talk about my writing, I always say I love to do the traveling to games and events and stuff like that. I absolutely love to cover the events, and I it's really cool to have covered the events that I have in the past. So I always love to travel to events, to games and such. I love meeting the people that I get to do or that I get to. I've met some incredible people, whether I've interviewed them or networked with them at events and stuff like that. But above all of that, I love the stories that I've gotten to tell. And
Right.
it just I generally pick my own stories, and I do a lot of research to tell those stories. And just some of them I've been really proud of. And so yeah, just above all of that, just telling the stories that I've gotten to do, it really reminds me of the great work that I am doing.
Well, we'll spin the block a little bit later in the conversation. I'll get you to tell me a couple of those stories that you absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
loved and shared for sure. No question. Now, I know you went to Washington State University, so you are a Cougar
Go
alum,
Cougs!
right? Right? If
Go
I'm not
Cougs, baby!
mistaken. I want to know, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Washington State? And if so, what were those schools and what made you choose Washington State?
There was. I haven't really told this story too many times, but from starting from 2015, 2016, up until now, I'm a diehard, full blown Kansas Jayhawks basketball fan, men's
Wow.
basketball fan.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my fault either. My English teacher at the time, he a good family friend too. he's a Kansas alum, and I was in his class, and he went over some of my favorite teams, and he was like, "Well, okay, they suck too, they suck too," and he goes, "Who's your favorite college basketball team?" And I said, "Well, I don't really have one," and I still remember it to this day. He pointed at me, he goes, "You're a Jayhawks fan now." I had no idea how good or bad they were. I remember walking out of his classroom, looking at my phone, seeing what I'm getting myself into. They're a top
Hmm.
five team in the country. I'm like, oh, okay. So, um, I so Kansas was the other school that I toured. I actually toured both Washington State and Kansas, um, and I actually went into sport management for Washington State, and that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I wanted to be a general manager for a basketball team. And so I
Wow.
saw that sport management was a major at Kansas and at
Yeah.
Washington State. And so I asked my mom if we could tour Kansas, and we got to. And I liked it. I liked touring Kansas. It was fun to go into Allen Fieldhouse. Was incredible. That is an
Great
environment
atmosphere.
that is it's an environment that's on my bucket list to go to when it's full.
Absolutely.
I've been to it when it's empty. I haven't been to it when it's full. It's still on my bucket list.
Sure.
Um, but I wasn't really feeling the sport management advisor. I kind of got what she was throwing out there, what she was offering, but I wasn't really like getting that feeling, like when you go to colleges, you get that feeling that
Absolutely.
makes you ultimately want to go there. And I wasn't really getting that feeling, but I didn't know it at the time. Um, and my mom said, but getting you're going into a different direction. I really wanted to go there because it's Kansas, and it's out of the country, and I wanted to be kind of away from home, but we toured WSU, and my mom was like, let's go tour WSU, and I got there and I said, this is where I belong, like this, like I belong here,
Mhm.
and the sport management advisor, completely different vibe. She talked to me as if I was already a student there, and
I like that.
which
That's pretty
which
cool.
yeah, which it was very fun. And they I felt like it's funny because looking back, like I felt like I was a recruit. Like I'm like, damn, they're giving me like the 411 treatment. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I didn't. It was a couple of years before I actually went to WSU that I toured, so I don't really remember all of the tour and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I definitely felt like that feeling of like I belong here, like I'm meant to go here. Um, and
Hmm.
so but I said when I decided I wanted to go to WSU, I vowed to from that day on that I would always be a Kansas basketball fan. No matter what, I'll root for WSU basketball, but I'm a Kansas Jayhawks fan. And I actually, this is getting a little bit off topic from your question, but I actually watched the 2022 national championship
Yeah.
in our dorm. We had a dorm party, and I screamed from the top of my lungs. And
Mhm.
basically, I think not only that entire dorm could hear it, I wouldn't be surprised if the dorm next to us could hear it when we won. And that was one of the greatest nights of my life. That was my senior year too, at WSU. But I did not care. I was dressed up in Kansas gear and watching the national championship. I watched the Final Four with my mom and her boyfriend when they came to visit WSU. We watched it in my dorm room. I was screaming the entire time that game too. Um, but I vowed from that day that I decided to go to WSU, I will always be a Kansas Jayhawks fan.
Totally, no question about it. I mean, obviously that championship that they won in 22 was amazing. Even going back a little bit further, in my mind, when I was in my earlier 20s, and the Mario Chalmers shot
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
Derrick Rose, that was a big time national championship game as
yeah,
well. No question about that. So I love that. I love the
yeah.
fact of that story. I appreciate that too.
So
Appreciate you
that,
sharing that story.
of course, so that year was a little bit before my time as a Kansas Jayhawks fan, and this also shows how young of a Jayhawks fan I am. My favorite Jayhawk of all time is Devontae Graham. I love
Mm,
him.
mm,
He is a straight up baller, and I love the thing about Kansas that I love the most is you don't really see it nowadays with the draft and the transfer portal and everything. But
sure.
my favorite thing about Kansas is how they develop their players. Um, you see them, you watch them as a freshman, and then you see them as a senior, and how well they've developed. That's one of the reasons why Devontae's one of my favorite players. Another example is Ochai Agbaji. Jalen Wilson's another example. Christian
Yep.
Brown is another example.
Yep.
Um, so some of those guys, you watch how they. I honestly, his freshman year, I thought Christian Brown was trash. I was like, this guy sucks, and
Right.
but he developed, and he was under the Bill Self coaching or the Bill Self tree, and he turned into an NBA rotational guy, and a national champion,
Absolutely. I
and
love
one of
it.
the biggest badasses that came out of Lawrence.
No
Um,
doubt. No
so
doubt.
yeah, that's just a little tidbit into how big and how young of a Jayhawks fan I am.
I love it. I love it. Now, I want to ask you this, Brendan, and that is some favorite questions. So I want you to give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions that I'm about to ask you. Okay, so here we
Yeah.
go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh, it's probably the only meal I can cook. Spaghetti. I make spaghetti almost every day, dude.
I
Um,
love it. I love it.
depending on like how hungry I am, I'll probably overfeed myself, like give myself too much for a day. But I love cooking spaghetti, man.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Love me some spaghetti. Spaghetti and fish. Maybe some steak and spaghetti is good too. I'm huge in
Yeah.
tacos. I like that. I like that
Yeah,
a
I was
lot.
gonna
So yeah.
say, I when I was younger, when I was in my teens, I used to make spaghetti tacos.
Oh, okay
Yeah,
now. I'm with you on that.
yeah.
I'm with you on that.
There's a kids show called iCarly. They made that's famous for spaghetti tacos, and
I definitely know
I
what you're talking about.
yeah. So I'd always be like, I want to make a spaghetti taco, and so I don't usually do it anymore. I need to go back to doing that, but
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, this was recent too. I said it when I left the show and told my parents the next day. So he's a not really known artist. His name is Livingston. Um puts out
Mm,
really good music. But that was one of the concerts where I genuinely knew almost every word to every one of his songs, and
mm.
I got to sing. I basically got to like sing with the guy basically the entire day. It was like sing along to his songs the entire day, and um, and it was awesome. And I had the opportunity also to buy a pre-show meet and greet pass, so we got to go as a group and ask him like questions and stuff, and yeah, it was cool to like get to talk to him and stuff. Um, but yeah, that's my it was recent too. It was within the last year that I
Right.
went to that concert, so that was a blast.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Now let me ask you, favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Favorite place I've ever traveled to? That's a great question too, because I travel for work too. But I always try to do stuff outside of work whenever I go to places. Favorite place I've gotten to travel to.
Mm. Yeah, you can tell this is a very good question. It got you
That's a
thinking.
very good question. You know what? People are gonna hate me. People are gonna love me for this answer. I just got back from Vegas, and that was fun. I mean, Vegas is fun, but
Yes.
um, Vegas is fun. I did get to hang out a lot outside of work for that. I cover a tournament, and so I got to hang out a lot after those games in the tournament. So but I've been to Vegas many times. And so it's always fun when I go there. I've also been to Arizona a bunch of times. Um,
Okay.
I've been to Mexico. I think 8 times, 7 or 8 times.
Mm.
And that's actually the only out of the country place I've ever been to. I've never been to Canada. Never been to any other country. I want to go to Australia one day.
Okay. Hey, speak it
Yeah.
into existence, baby.
Yeah,
That's what we're
baby. I
doing.
will. I'll do it. I'll do it one day.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Now we're sports people, so I want to know
Yeah.
this. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, favorite sport you like to attend in person. They could be the same sport.
Basketball. Basketball, man. Basketball.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it, man. I love football too. But and I grew up loving football. But
Right.
basketball, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Pretty easy for me. I love basketball.
Yeah.
Definitely attending in person. And I do love watching football on TV, but I can watch basketball too. So that's my favorite sport without question. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last of the favorites, okay, because I'm a huge foodie. I have never personally been there in Washington State where you are, but I know
Mhm.
Pullman, there's really nothing in Pullman where Washington State University is. But I do want to go to Seattle one of these days, and obviously Portland, Oregon is near to you, obviously. But tell me, where you are, what is your favorite place you like to go out and eat at?
Oh man. Where I'm at, well, if you go to Portland, which I'm a little bit north of Portland in Ridgefield. If you go to Portland though, um, you got to go. I was just talking to someone yesterday on social media about this. You got to go to the Sports Bra. It's a bar. It's a bar that only plays women's sports.
Wow.
Doesn't include women's sports. They only play women's sports. And
Okay.
and the owner there, Jenny, shout out to Jenny. She's the best. She makes amazing food. She has amazing food there, and but you got to go there. That's a definitely historic place. It's I don't know if I would go there during WNBA season or women's basketball season just because it's gonna be busy. But if you get a chance, if you're in the area, you definitely got to go to the sports bra. Um, and outside of that, I do like Sizzle Pie. Sizzle Pie has really good garlic knots. Um,
Mm.
they
Okay.
at the Moda Center, the where the Blazers and the Fire are going to play next year. Um,
Right.
I used to work at concessions there, at any one of those spots, and I would work at Sizzle Pie a lot. And dude, those garlic knots. There's a reason why they sell out by the end of the first quarter.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They're good. They're
I
good.
like it. I like it.
Other than that, I don't know. There's just in Richfield, it's a really small town where I live.
Right.
Um, so there's a lot of like local spots. Um, so in terms of like where to go there, I don't really have a definitive answer for you.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. You gave me a couple of different ones. I mean, obviously, if I'm in the Seattle area, I don't know how close you are to Seattle. Not sure how close you are to Portland, but obviously, if I'm near there, which I do travel for work as well, depending on the assignments that I pick up or whatever I have, I gotta say what's up to you, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, more in Portland. Seattle's about two and a half hours from me. So more Portland. Portland's like a half an hour away from me. So
Wow. So definitely Portland. If I'm there in
yeah,
Portland, I
yeah,
would
yeah,
definitely say what's up to
yeah,
you for sure. No question.
yeah.
Um, But it leads me to a great segue of a question, and that is your day-to-day process. I'm a freelancer too, but I'm also a substitute teacher, and when you are doing a freelancing kind of thing, you're calling around, you're asking people, you're writing people, you're trying to pitch different stories and different assignments to do, but also sub-teach Monday through Friday as well. So tell me what your day-to-day process is of being a freelancer. How many stories do you normally get? I cover a hockey team, and I also cover a lacrosse team out here, and getting ready to do some college baseball and softball this season, and also a professional minor league baseball team. So I cover that out here in Rochester, New York. What teams do you cover out there, and how do you get your or I should say not how do you get your, but what do you do for your day-to-day basis from Monday through Friday?
Yeah, so Monday, I mean, I'm kind of in between jobs right now. Currently, I work at I'm a cashier at Dollar Tree, so it's kind of lame, but you do what you got to do. Um, and I'm kind of in between jobs right now, so trying to find my footing in there, but also like trying to expand my view in like writing and stuff, and trying to expand my portfolio as much as I can. Um,
Right.
as in terms of like how many stories I do, it really depends on the season. For like if, during college season this year, I I generally don't go for a certain team. I usually go for stories. Um, and oftentimes like at the beginning of the season, I kind of had a mind blank, so I kind of had about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, where I just didn't do anything, and I just looked for stories and stuff like that. Um, and mind you, I'm coming off of like a tiring WNBA season, so
For
I gotta
sure.
take as much time as I can off. But I one of the first stories I did was one on Arizona State's coach, Molly Miller, because I loved her quick turnaround of the program, and so that kind of got the ball rolling. I'm pretty sure I probably did another story before then, but and then as the season went on, the ideas for more stories came up, and before you know it, it's the WCC tournament, and I'm going during the tournament is different because you're publishing like 3 to 4 stories a day, depending on how many games there are.
Sure.
Um, and never mind like the features that you have to do. So,
Right.
but like I said at the beginning, like I usually or I generally pick my own stories, and that's the job I was given is I get to pick my own stories, and I really
Right.
like that. And it's just a matter of going and finding them.
I love that. I do. And listen, again, this is another great segue because now what I want to talk about is mental health and work-life balance. And the reason why I want to talk about mental health is I've been a journalist for the past, I would say, 9 years in this industry. Got my start in Atlanta, Georgia, where I was covering high school football. Then I went from football to basketball to baseball to lacrosse. I moved to Minnesota, started covering that on a full-time basis, 12 high schools, and then a college, started doing collegiate sports. And then I moved from there now to here. Now I'm doing more professional on the freelance level, and then being able to obviously last year freelance my way to get to the Super Bowl and cover that. That was just amazing. So
Hey,
I say
congratulations.
that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And to say that, the reason why I say that is I've seen different journalists that have been in this industry that have walked away because of their mental health being affected or the work-life balance not being able to get balance, right? In my opinion, I don't think you ever get 100% balance. I think balance looks different for everybody. So I want to know, from your perspective, how do you keep your mental health strong and still have that work-life balance? But not get overwhelmed or burnt out in this industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. There have been a lot of times in my time as a journalist, especially this last WNBA season, where I didn't think I was putting out good work. Like honestly, like I didn't think I was putting out good work, and honestly, like comparing myself to others, which I've just learned like over the past month or two, like that real saying of comparison is the thief of joy, and
Right.
I'm trying to teach myself that more, and because that's something that I've been so used to doing is comparing myself, and it's really especially when I talk about the people that I've met, like I've met some like big time people that are doing it, and it makes me like very very inferior, because I started my journey started from like the not even the grass, like the dirt ground. Like I started from square one, letter A, like beginning.
For sure.
And I've just worked my way up. Again, I didn't major in journalism, didn't do any of those classes whatsoever. I've just met the right people, and I knew the resources that I had, whenever I would like have a bad moment or a bad day, or I would look at a story and be like, oh, that's crap, or or whatever it is, and I would always reach out to those people that I knew, and they would help me out, and they would be like, it's okay, you're putting out amazing work, you're doing a great job,
Right.
and one of the moments that I had, it was about, gosh, it was about 4 months ago. I'd have to go look back at the conversation, but I just wasn't really feeling it. I was just having a bad day, and I reached out to Ari Chambers on Instagram. A
Yeah.
shout out to her. She's been amazing. She's been one of my biggest supporters from the jump, which has been incredible. And she just gave me a voice memo that I listened to, and it really brought the fuel back, and kind of lit the fire, and I still have that voice memo, and it really it kept me going,
Right.
and so some of that, so like the right people that I've met have like reminded me, like yeah, this industry is hard to get through, and especially because I went to Arizona for a game, and I have one of my mentors. I will most likely talk about him later. Um, he like sat down with me, and he was like, all your feelings that you have are valid, but you gotta look at them in a different way, or you gotta go a different approach. You just gotta keep working, and it's all been worth it. So that's what I say. Like I'll have days where, because we'll probably go into this a little bit more, but Seattle is a 2.5 hour drive for me. And a lot of the
Right.
games that I covered last year are at 7 o'clock in the evening. So I would get home at around 1:30, 2 a.m. Probably,
Right.
most likely.
Right.
Maybe 3 a.m., depending on what happens.
Yeah.
Um, there was an overtime game, or there was a double overtime game against the LA Sparks that they had. I would have gotten home at 2 a.m. had I done the game recap, but I decided not to because I'm a human being. But but I got home at like 11. But saying like still all this traveling, all the late nights, and I always say it's all worth it. It is all worth it.
It is. And I can attest to what you're talking about because when I was in Minnesota, I lived in a small town not close to Minneapolis. So I was 2 hours away. So when I was trying to go cover games for the Lynx, I would have to drive back and forth. So that drive back and forth is just absolutely insane. And then there'd be times where I'd be so dog dead tired that I might have to get a hotel because I'm like, okay, I don't want to be driving too late at night to get back
Yeah.
at home because I don't want to fall asleep. So I
Right.
totally
Right.
dig that. I really understand what you're talking about there, and it is a grind, right? It
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
mess with your mental. Shout out to Ariel Chambers as well because she's amazing. She's going to be somebody that's going to be coming on the podcast soon
Yes,
as
please
well.
have her.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
please have her.
yeah.
I actually owe her a Starbucks still. I'm going to give her a Starbucks whenever I see her next. I saw her in 2022 or 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
20 whenever the All-Star game was in Vegas the first time. Um
Okay.
and not they've been in there twice, but the first time, and I got to meet her. That was the first time I've ever met her, and I went as a fan, and we were in the line at Starbucks, and I said, I gave her a hug, and I was just so thankful for her support. I was just like, can I like buy you a Starbucks or something? Like, can I like we're in line at Starbucks. I'm like, can I pay for your Starbucks, please? And she's like, no, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, please, just let me get this Starbucks. And so, she was like, okay, and then they ultimately had to go. And I'm like, oh man. And so I still owe her a Starbucks.
I
So
feel it. I feel it.
she
I
always insists
definitely.
that I shouldn't get her one, but nah, man, she's
That's
done
pretty
so much
cool.
for me and everybody else.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome
Yeah,
that you offered that. And like I said, I definitely look forward to having her on. I do message her. She does reach back out. She's awesome. I wanted to ask this next one here, and that is advice. What is some advice that you would give somebody like either someone that's in college that might be going to college right now because you're a college graduate of a couple of
yeah,
years
yeah.
now, or some advice that somebody wants to get into sports writing and sports journalism that wants to cover either women's sports or any sports? What kind of advice do you have for that individual?
That's a great question. These are some really good questions, man.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
these are some really good questions. When Okay, if you're so when you cover sport, when you cover events, this isn't really like for sports writing in general, but or for sports writing, but like going to like events and stuff.
Right.
Um, like last year, I got to cover the Final Four. I got to cover All Star Weekend 2 years ago in Phoenix. Um, and that was my first big event was in Phoenix, and then the Final Four, like that's big, that's huge. And I'll get to do that in a couple weeks as well in Phoenix. I felt so. That feeling of being inferior came up, like because there's so many big names,
Right.
um, big names in terms of like media, and there's a lot going on and that kind of stuff. But another friend of mine said like, you are just as qualified to be in that room, to be in that press conference room, to be in that workroom, be wherever you are in the event. You are just as
Right.
qualified to be in that room as everybody else in there. And
Absolutely.
that meant so much to me, and I still use that to this day. I still use that to this day. I'm probably going to be using that as long as I do this. But that would be one piece of advice that I would use for them. And then the first, can you remind me what the first group you said was?
Well, just being able to, like I said, whether it's college students or
Yeah, yeah.
people that's in college, what kind of advice would you give those type of individuals that want to do the same job that you do?
Enjoy college, man. Enjoy it because it goes by like that. And that my senior year, I really wanted to, or I really focused on living in the moment and living in the present, and not really this might have been a bit of a mistake, but not really worrying about the future too much,
Okay.
because the future comes at you fast. Um,
It does.
but living in the moment, living in the present, doing everything you can, exploring campus, and being a student, being a person on campus, and I really enjoyed my college experience, and Yeah, so that's I think that was just enjoy it.
I like it. I like it. Now, who do you write for? Because for me, I tap into different publications here, but I
Yeah,
also write for a network called the BS3 Network, which is something
yeah,
that's on my bio. It's in my bio in my Instagram and my other
yeah.
social medias as well. So yeah, who do you write for?
So I do a couple of different outlets, and I was kind of hesitant to do multiple outlets, but I kind of got out of my comfort zone there. That's another advice word of advice I would give to writers and college students is don't worry or don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. I mean that's actually how I got into writing,
Right.
but but for college and high school I write for World Exposure Report. Um, and so for the Final Four, I'll be covering the for the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. I will be with World Exposure Report, and then I also do some work on the side for a site called Kook Fan, which is basically WSU. If you're a WSU fan of the athletics or anything, and you want to stay up to date with the news regarding them, Kook Fan's the way to go. And and so, yeah, I do a little bit of work for them. I've only been with them for a couple of months. I'm hoping to do more next year in terms of covering women's basketball, but they cover all sports. Um, and then the Portland Fire, I will be with Winsider Media. They're a pretty well known outlet, and I will be covering the Portland Fire and the WNBA for them next year. And I just got that opportunity a few months ago. I've been trying to get my name out there for covering the Portland Fire. And I've actually been trying to get with them for about a year and a half. So
Yeah.
um,
Congratulations. I love that.
thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. And they're a good group. They've had some really good people write for them and be with them for the time that they did. And they've gone on to like work for numerous WNBA teams. And so they're a really good outlet. And I know a lot of people from that outlet I knew already. So I feel like this is a really good match.
I love that. I love that. Now, this next question is called bucket list. And the reason why it's called bucket list is because I want you to speak this into fruition. Okay. I want you to speak that. And I want you to tell me, name me four different events or stories that you would like to write in your sports journalism career that you haven't done yet.
Oh, four stories or four events or four
Yeah,
stories.
either or. You can mix them in, stories or
Okay.
events.
Okay. Well, I think I mentioned earlier that one of my bucket list things is to go, but this is as a fan, is to go to Allen Fieldhouse
Okay.
when it's full. So that's I mean that's more of a fan though. Um, I will speak, or I did this a couple of days ago, and I will do it again. I will speak this into existence. My number one goal is to cover the 2028 Olympics in
Oh,
LA.
I like that.
That is my goal. I will work my ass off to get there,
Yes,
but
indeed.
I will do it. So that's the big one.
I like that.
Um, and then oh man, just to just to cover different things for the Portland Fire, I guess. I don't know like in I just cover like stories as they come to fruition kind of or as if I find them. I like I don't really like want to say like oh I'll cover this person when their friend gets this or like when their parent like dies or something like that. But
Right,
um,
right.
but I just cover stories like as I find them. So
Okay.
I don't really like have like any like bucket list stories I would like to tell. Just because I find them as I find them. But covering I think like covering the Portland Fire in general because like as you said at the top, like they're an expansion team, and I'd get to cover this team from the jump. like
Right. Brand new.
from yeah, and let's say hopefully they do sooner rather than later. Let's say they win a championship, and
Hmm.
and obviously I'd be a part of that team because I'd be covering them. I'll get to say, like, let's say in 5 years they win a championship in 5 years. In that
Yeah.
like fifth year, I'll be like, I covered this team from the jump, and they're a championship team. And let's say they do it with like half of the roster that they'll have upcoming. Many of those players will know who I am. So um, that's just something really cool to think about. Obviously, a lot of work needs to be done to get there.
For
Um,
sure. For sure.
but that's just something that like I've like only fantasized about, and I've talked to some friends. Like I'm really lucky to be able to cover a team that's so much closer to me, um, and get and to be able to use last season to get better, um, and to get my name out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to give you great experience.
Mhm.
Obviously, covering a brand new team, there'll be ways that you'll be able to cover them that most people would not be able to because a lot of firsts is going to happen this season
Yeah,
for the
a lot of
Portland
firsts.
Fire, which is great. And I'm excited for you, man. Like I said, it's the WNBA's 30th season of
Yeah.
kickoff, and this is something that's going to be very good. And I love it. I love it for you for sure. We have reached the portion of my podcast, though, Brendan, that now we're going to talk about this or that. It's an interactive game that I like to play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And it's very simple.
Yes.
I'm going to throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, Brendan, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Here we go. Out of these two restaurants, which restaurant would you rather eat at? In and Out or Five Guys?
Oh, this is okay. So I'm gonna go Five Guys because okay, don't hate me. I've never had In and Out, and that may no that statement becomes worse because they just built an In and Out like 5 minutes away from me. They built it like four
Wow.
or 3 4 months ago, and I still haven't gone.
I need you to
Um,
go, Brendan. I
I
need you to
need to
go.
go. I know, but I love Five Guys. I'll do you one better. I actually what because we're sticking with the theme of burgers. My favorite place to go for a burger is Killer Burger. Um,
Oh,
their
okay.
peanut butter pickle bacon burger. I take off the pickles. They have the best peanut butter that I've ever tasted.
Wow, that is definitely
Yeah,
different. No question. No
yeah,
question about
yeah,
that one. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's another stand that I worked at the Moda Center, and I would always get those burgers. Um,
Mm.
and if they're not sold, employees get them for free. And I would always hope that that the peanut butter burger there would be free. And sometimes it is, and sometimes I'm blessed.
I'll keep that in mind to try that place out for sure. Now, let me
Yeah,
ask you
yeah.
this. Chicken wings, flavors. When it comes to chicken wing flavors, which flavor would you rather have on the chicken wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue. I'm a big barbecue guy when it comes to anything.
Okay. Okay. So now I want to ask you, do you like your wings wet or dry?
Ooh, probably wet. Probably wet. If I have like
Okay.
some, yeah. I was gonna say if I have like some water or something with my meal, like probably, but like I would just pick wet then.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Uh, I probably pick both, but if I'm gonna pick one, probably bone in,
Okay.
probably
So
bone in. But
you like to get a little messy with it.
yeah. I take either or though.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Now, these next four questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend. So here we go. Which music concert of these two artists would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Lil Wayne or Jay-Z?
Probably Jay Z. Probably Jay Z. Um,
I like it.
yeah, probably Jay Z.
Okay. Okay. Out of these two groups, Which group would you rather go see in person? Would you rather see Panic at the Disco or AJR?
Oh, this is easy. AJR, easy. And I worked. I said I bring up concessions. My concessions job a lot. One of my last concerts that I worked at that job was AJR. Loved it. I sang
Oh yeah.
every song while I was working, and all my
Oh yeah.
coworkers. So I was having a blast.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
best
definitely one
part
of my favorite groups.
when you work a concert where you know the artist. That is the best job to have.
No
Those are the
question. I'm
best
with you
days
on that.
because you get to get paid for that.
Absolutely. Okay. All right.
So
We off to a pretty good start.
AJR,
Which music concert out of these two groups would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Zach Brown Band or Lady A?
probably Zach Brown Band. Yeah, Zach Brown Band.
I like it. I like it. Here we go. We're going to finish up with this one. Which music concert would you rather go see? Usher or Chris Brown?
Usher. I've grown up loving Usher, so I would go see Usher.
Okay, I like that. Now let's switch back to sports. Which sport, if on TV, would you rather watch? Baseball or hockey?
Oh, see, this is. I hate both sports. They're so slow. They're so well. Hockey's not really slow, but um, uh, probably probably hockey. But I don't think I'd have fun at either one. Honestly,
I
those are like
feel it.
those are like two of the ones where you can't choose, but in a bad way.
I know that's right. I know it. I feel it though. I feel you how definitive you're being. Now, which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Oh, badminton! Badminton's awesome. Badminton's awesome. I used to play that in high school. I was good. I was good at badminton in high school. Um,
So are you saying you're not a good bowler?
no, I'm not a good bowler at all. No, no, no. I'm the fun friend that people take to bowling.
Okay, I love
I'm
it.
just
I
there for the
love it.
vibes.
I love it, man. That's what's up. That is awesome. Now, do you like desserts?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You got to choose one of these categories that you would never eat again. So here we go.
Oh,
Okay. So first category is ice cream. The second category is cookies. The third category is cake slash pie. So they're grouped together.
okay.
The last category is candy. Which one are you getting rid of?
Oh, oh, wow. Okay, so I can't do ice cream because I always eat ice cream.
Okay.
Um, cake or pies? Damn. And candy. Oh shit. Okay, so I'm gonna keep candy.
Okay.
Uh,
So it's cookies between cookies and cake slash pies.
probably cookies. Yeah, probably cookies. I don't really eat cookies that much.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to pick from the desserts that I eat the least, and or
Right.
that I like that I like dislike because I just ate a pie like a few weeks ago, like probably a month or two ago.
Okay.
I always eat ice cream, and so I can't do those. And then candy, I probably eat almost every day. And then yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to do cookies because I wouldn't like buy cookies. You would probably find them at like events or stuff like that. Events
Okay.
or like events, whether it's sporting events or like media sport covering events and stuff like that, or like parties or gatherings. You know what I mean? But
For sure. For sure.
yeah, stuff like that. But other than that, like I don't really like vibe with cookies. Not that I hate them, but
Okay. Now let me ask you, what is your favorite ice cream?
mm, okay. So it depend with ice cream. I've found that it depends on the mood that I'm in. Um, but one of the popular ones that I like is chocolate chip cookie dough. That's one that I grew up
Yeah.
loving. Um,
Yeah.
and then God, there's one that I always go to when I always go to the store. I always get this one. I can't remember what it. I always get it, but I can't remember what it's called. Um, it's
Like the cookies and cream?
no, it's more like a peanut butter like tracks kind of thing. Um,
Ooh.
it's kind of like a peanut butter ice cream, but in a Rocky Road style. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's mixed with like caramel and stuff and like that. It's a
That
blue bunny.
sounds like
It's a blue bunny recipe. Um,
okay. That sounds pretty good. I
yeah,
like that.
I can't remember. I'll text it to you. I'll text it to you when I find out.
Okay.
But yeah,
That
I
sounds pretty
can't.
good. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. I just can't. I can't think of the name right now.
Let me ask you this. Do you like potato chips?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So same format. I'm gonna name 4 brands. You gotta get rid of one of these brands. So here we go. So the first brand is gonna be Pringles. The
Okay.
second brand is gonna be Doritos. The third brand is going to be Ruffles. The last brand is going to be Lay's.
Yeah, I knew that
Which
one was.
one do you get rid of?
Okay, so the two right off the top, Doritos and Lay's. The Cool Ranch for Doritos, and I can't remember the exact flavor, but the purple bag for it's like a sweet and no, it's like a sweet and spicy kind of flavor.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are the go-to for Doritos. Um, I vibe with the regular with the nacho cheese one, but I mean it's not my favorite. Um,
Okay.
by the way, little tangent. I know has completely nothing to do with the game. It is a cardinal sin that Taco Bell discontinued the Cool Ranch Doritos Logos Taco.
Yeah, that's
Cardinal
crazy.
sin.
That was wild.
Cardinal sin. Horrible. Anyways, um, and then Lay's I'm keeping as well. Barbecue, baby, barbecue,
Oh yeah.
and the onion one too is really good. The green bagged Lay's.
Sour
Those are
cream and
good.
onion.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Sour cream and onion. I was trying to think of that full name. Yeah, those are good too.
Okay.
Um,
So we're down to
probably,
Ruffles and Pringles. Which
yeah,
one are you getting rid of?
probably the people are gonna hate me. Probably the Pringles. I don't really eat Pringles that much, and barbecue Ruffles they slap, man. You can
Oh
kind of
my
sense it
God.
that I'm liking the barbecue flavors. That's why I said like barbecue wings. Like I vibe with those.
I vibe with those two. I would say
Yeah.
this. If we're walking into a grocery store and I say, Brendan, go to the chip aisle and buy your favorite chip, what are you buying to eat?
Again, it's a mood thing, but again, yeah, it's a mood thing, but probably um damn, I'm gonna have to go do this. Um Probably Cool Ranch Doritos. They had some of those Cool Ranch Doritos at the they actually just had them on my walk back to my car today. Um but they had them at the tournament that I went to, and I snagged a bag of those. But yeah,
Mm.
probably Cool Ranch Doritos or the purple bag Doritos. Any one of those.
The
But
sweet jalapeno.
yeah, 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 crispy jalapeno. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, one of those ones. And
Okay.
honestly, like that's a big thing that I'm saying that those the crispy jalapeno ones that those are like one of my favorites. Because growing up, I hated spicy things. I hated them, hated them, hated them. And I've
Wow.
grown to like actually like they're pretty good. They're obviously they're spicy, but like once you get over that, they're pretty good.
Pretty good.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. I agree
Now
with that. And
now I won't go like full like spicy like it's this is gonna get me canceled too. Hot Cheetos, I don't really do hot Cheetos. Um
oh, listen, I don't either. I don't. Well, I
so
used to, but
hey
not no
man,
more. I got to watch my diet now.
people love
Yeah.
hot Cheetos. People like love
Yeah,
hot and spicy food like that, and I'm just like, I wouldn't go that far, but if you give me like
right.
a Dorito, like that purple bag flavor of a Cheeto, like I'll do that.
Okay, I'm with you on that. And you
Yeah,
did very good on this or that. You did absolutely awesome on this or that.
I appreciate
And I
that, man.
appreciate it. I wanna I gotta talk to you about some Portland Fire and some
Yeah,
WNBA.
baby.
Obviously, just a day and a half ago, the WNBA finally, as it was reported, came to agreement that both sides reached an agreement on a new CBA, which is well deserved because obviously with the success that Unrivaled is doing, and for those of you that don't know what Unrivaled is, when you do watch this podcast, Unrivaled is a 3-on-3 basketball professional league that players play in outside of the WNBA season. It's a league that was built to allow players to stay in the U.S. and make money instead of going overseas to play on those overseas teams. Because obviously we saw what happened with the Brittany Griner situation when she went over there. None of us want that to transpire ever again. But the WNBA season is approaching us, and we have the defending champions, which is the Las Vegas Aces, coming back. We have obviously some very good teams, but we're also going to have an expansion draft with two teams, right? With Toronto and Portland stealing some players as well. We got more expansion on the way with Philadelphia coming, Cleveland coming, if I'm not mistaken. I think Detroit is also coming, but I know Philadelphia and Cleveland for sure in the next in incumbent years. So talk to me though about this particular season of the WNBA and what you're expecting from those Portland Fire teams of Portland Fire team this season.
Yeah, let me just first say to the players, congratulations for standing your ground, and getting what you deserve. Ultimately, what you deserve, because
Right.
if you do the proper research, you're gonna see that these players are going to get paid, and I emphasize like they're gonna get paid, man, and they
As
deserve
they should.
like Asia Wilson. She's gonna be the first $1 million contract in WNBA history as soon as they finalize this thing, um,
Right.
which is huge. Um, but anyways, um, gosh, this is going to be a historic season for the Portland Fire. It's like you said earlier. There's going to be a lot of firsts. Um, if people are new to the Portland Fire, they were a team in Portland from 2000 to 2002.
Hmm.
Um, they folded because Paul Allen, the late Paul Allen, did not want to continue owning the team,
Right.
so they gave it to the WNBA, and then they eventually folded. A lot of great players in that from that franchise. Um, a lot of great players from that franchise have been so supportive of the new Portland Fire. And to kind of give you a little bit of context, this is a different team from the Portland Fire. Like this is a different franchise. Like they're not it's not the this is gonna hurt a little bit of well maybe not really anymore. This is not like the Oklahoma City Thunder going back to the Seattle Supersonics. This
Right.
is um this is a brand new franchise that are just calling themselves the Portland Fire, and
Mm.
I say that because they have done a great job of remembering their history and remembering the players that have come before them in terms of like the past Portland Fire teams. Um, and so I do want to commend them for that. It's hard to tell what the vision of this team is because they don't have a roster,
Right.
and obviously they've had to wait a long time to be able to build a roster. It's reported that the expansion draft will be April 6th, and I'm not too happy with that because I will be in Phoenix um, for
Yeah.
the Final
At the
Four.
Final
But
Four. Yeah.
but they're not doing everything just for me. But and you can tell. No, no. That's the day that we're gonna really tell um, what their vision is. If you're not too familiar with the Portland Fire staff, you really gotta do your due diligence on their staff because it's really fascinating. Um, there are some notable names on the staff in terms of like management and stuff like that. The GM is Vanya Chernovich. She used to be the I'm gonna mess up this title, so I'm just gonna say she worked for the Golden State Valkyries. I believe she was the director of basketball operations, but she worked in that department. She was very high up in that department, and so they're the most recent expansion team. So, pardon my French, she knows her shit. Um,
Absolutely.
when it
Absolutely.
comes to building a team from the ground up, she knows what she's talking about. Um, so you really got to take that into account. And I think that a lot of the media members I talk to are really confident in the Portland Fire, in the Portland Fire's future because Vanya is at the helm, because she's seen what an expansion process looks like. Um, and so she'll be leading the Portland Fire from a management standpoint. Um, her assistants are her assistants in the front office are Brittany Donaldson, who's also paired as an assistant coach, um, and Ashley Battle, who's I believe she's the director of basketball operations there. And then they have a bunch of different staff for a bunch of different tasks
Right.
in the front office.
That name sounds familiar. Ashley Battle. I think she used to be with the Celtics, if
Yeah,
I'm
she
not
did. Yeah,
mistaken.
she used to be with the Celtics. She used to be with the main Celtics and with the Boston Celtics. She did a lot of scouting in that department, and then she's a former WNBA player. And
Hmm.
I'll go over the staff, and you can kind of see that a common theme, which I think is really smart. But Ashley Battle used to be a scout for the Celtics, and then she used to be a former player. She went to UConn. She was one of the UConn greats.
Right.
And then she was a play-by-play announcer just this past year for the Connecticut Sun, which I think is very smart that you bring someone like that who
Right.
knows the WNBA, the game, and then knows the WNBA, the players that are
Right.
currently playing, that are currently in the field. Um,
Agreed.
Not that Vanya didn't already, but you have another face that does. So I think that's very smart. And I said that when Ashley was hired, and I did my due diligence on her story. Um,
And they
filling
and
out
they
the
need they need somebody. They need people over there.
Yeah,
They need a spark to get this
yeah.
inaugural team going. You know what I mean?
And I'll tell you another spark. I think we're gonna have some fun with this next one. But the head coach is going to be Alex Sarama, and
Mm.
if
Mm.
you're an NBA guy, that name might sound familiar. He is an assistant coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is currently in season, but he has said that when we get the ball rolling in Portland, he will be a part of everything. Um, so I'm assuming that's still going to be true. Now that
Right.
we actually have the ball rolling, it'll be interesting to see where he is in that standpoint. Um, he has this conceptual offense theory, and his system is very complex. And I did a story a little bit about this, um, that I think I'll send it to you if you haven't read it, but it's a
Please
better
do.
explanation of what his vision for the fire is and how it could work, because I think I've talked to one of his former staff about this, but he when a complex system isn't like when it's not known or well known, it's often criticized a lot, and just because you haven't seen it, and
For sure.
um, and so when this hire was made, all the boxes that wanted to be checked, none of them were checked. He's not a black
Right.
woman. He's not a foreign. This is his first time in the WNBA, and plus, in addition, he has a complex system. So that puts up in the general public, that puts up a lot of red flags. But I'm
Right.
sitting here saying this could work. Just give it a chance, and all that stuff, and kind of being devil's advocate for it. But he does have Portland experience. He used to be the assistant coach for the Rep City Remix, and I'm friends with one of his former players, and I got to talk to him a little bit about his system and what he thinks about it and how it could work in the W. And he gave me some really good insight. Um,
Okay.
and so yeah, so that was really I was really fortunate to be able to do that. And then, like I said, Spark off the bench. She's coming off the bench, but in a different lens. He will be Alex Sarama will be assisted by a WNBA champion, WNBA Hall of Famer, all the accolades that you can give, and Minnesota's own Sylvia Fowles, who is taking off her jersey and putting on her coach's hat, and she's
I did
coming to
not know
Portland.
that. That's great insight. I
Yeah,
love that.
that was a big, big, big move. And as I said earlier, Brittany Donaldson, and then they have a couple of. He just filled out his coaching staff today, as we're recording this on the 19th of March. He just filled out his coaching staff this morning. So he's also doing something very smart too. As I said earlier, this is his first time in the WNBA. This is his
Right.
first time working with women's players. Probably not true because of the kind of camps that he runs and stuff like that.
Right.
But this is his first time working in the WNBA, and um, and he may not be too familiar with this game or how it works. Get yourself people who know what they're talking about in that area. Sylvia
Right.
Fowles, Brittany Donaldson used to work in the NBA, and he's gotten people on his staff that know what they're talking about, and they are qualified in terms of knowing the WNBA and knowing what it takes to succeed in the league. So I think that's a very smart thing to do. He has a book out. It's called Transforming Basketball. It's the 411 in his system, and I forget. I apologize that I don't have this at the ready, but it's the constraints led approach. Sorry.
You good. You're
It's,
good.
it's it's the constraints led approach. It's a very complex way of thinking, but we know it works because we've seen it in the NBA. We just don't know that we've seen it in the NBA. And I'll give you a great example.
Okay.
There, a couple years ago. So I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan personally. So a couple years ago, when Victor Wembanyama joined the league, the first game was against Dallas, and there was a viral video that went around where the trainers would use those like heightened sticks and with pads to simulate Victor Wembanyama's presence.
Wow.
That's the constraints led approach. That's part of that. Um,
Okay.
and I didn't know that at the time, but those types of things are. I think the best. I think the biggest complaint last year was a lack of officiating calls for certain things, and
Sure.
the players being too rough and not getting calls and stuff like that. If you hit it, you've seen in practice drills, I'm sure if you watch basketball practices, um, the players on drives get hit with pads and stuff like that.
Right.
That's the constraints led approach. That's part of it. So,
Mm.
um, so,
Okay.
so putting different constraints on certain situations so that when they're used in game situations, you're prepared for them. And it's different from running a practice drill with a certain number of seconds on the clock, or it's different from um, it's different like doing something like, for silly example, but like doing something blindfolded, or like that's more of what it is. And it goes more complex into that. But Alex Sarama is like one of the kings, and one of the founders in terms of the constraints led approach. And he's done it with the Cavaliers, and he's done it with the Rip City Remix, and so we know it works, and it's being used all across the NBA. So we know it works, and now it's hitting the WNBA for the first time. So, like I said, like a system that is unfamiliar by WNBA personnel and fan bases and people like that. So it might be criticized right off the bat. But we know it works. So I'm just saying, give it a chance. And a person like Alex Sarama, um, first male head coach, not a black female. Like I said earlier, not checking all the boxes that the general public hoped for a head coach. But
Right.
Nate Tibbetts is the best example for me saying, like, give him a chance, because we've seen it before. We've seen that it works.
Sure.
Nate Tibbetts was given the right tools to succeed, and if Alex Sarama's given the right tools to succeed, we know this thing could work. Um, so,
Awesome. I love that.
but that's the general feeling for me right now. It's like I'm super excited. I'm ready for opening day in the Moda Center, May 8th, against the Chicago Sky. Um, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped.
I
So
love
I'm
it.
ready.
I love it. I do. And listen, I hope, buddy, I am on this side doing the Toronto tempo. I don't know. Obviously, like I said, I'm a freelancer, so I like to reach out to different people. I've tried to reach out to the Toronto tempo. It's very, very difficult to get in touch with them, for sure. But I'm definitely interested in going to do a lot of their games. They're actually playing in multiple different arenas. So one game's in Vancouver, another game's in Montreal. They're playing in the Coca-Cola Coliseum out there in Toronto. So I definitely would love to get up there and be able to cover them, because that would be a definite treat for me.
How
Uh,
close? How close are you to Vancouver?
I'm far. I'm about 4 or 5 hours away.
Okay, so I'm about 6 hours the other way. I'm planning on covering that game because one of those games is against the Fire, in Vancouver,
Uh,
which I knew was going to happen. I knew when they said that we're gonna do two games in Vancouver, I said one of those games is gonna be against the Fire.
it is.
Um,
It
and so
is.
I kind of had that on my radar, that they were gonna play against the Fire. All I got to do is renew my passport and get myself to Canada for the first time. So.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
I
For sure.
that's my plan. To go cover that game in Canada. So
I definitely would probably have to rely on you for that, for sure. If I get a chance to obviously get a tag and be able to get a credential to cover Toronto, that'd be amazing. But I'm definitely going to be going back and forth to Toronto, because I'm only about two and a half from there.
yeah.
So I'm not too far from there. So I think I would like to do that, maybe a little less, but that's the plan. And this has been a pretty dope podcast, man. It's been really, really dope. Just talking to you, bro, and listening to the passion that you talk with women's basketball a lot. Because, listen, I love women's basketball with all my heart as well. Not just college basketball, but the WNBA. Obviously, the tournament for the women's of the NCAA gets started tomorrow. I have UConn winning it in my bracket. I don't know who you have in your bracket to win it, but I also filled out another bracket, and I have in that bracket Texas to
Okay.
win it all. So I have UConn, I have Texas to win it all, for sure, in my two brackets. And listen, like I said, man, I want you to continue being just amazing at what you do, passionate about what you do, and keep being an advocate for not only writing but talking about women's sports, because I'm the same way. I want to be an advocate as well. I don't think they get talked about enough, but the only way they can is if they have brothers like you and myself and men to talk about sports, right? Because it just can't be the women talking about it. So I
Yeah.
really am an appreciative, Brenden, of you being on. My final question to you before I let you go is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
Well, first of all, I got UCLA to win it all. I got UCLA to beat UConn in the
Okay.
chip, but then
Okay.
that holds a little bit more personal for me because my one of my best friends plays for UCLA, so I really want to see her win a chip.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah. It'd be really cool to see her win a chip, especially like since I'm covering the Final Four to be there in person, um, and that'd be really cool. But uh, anything like you said, anything that like I would like to say, or what was sorry,
Yeah.
what was the question?
Oh, oh yeah. Like anything else you would like to add about yourself or anything at all before we conclude?
Oh yeah, man, like be make sure to tune in on World Exposure Report starting at we're on the 19th, so on the 27th, that's the first day of the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. From that day to April 5th, I'm go with World Exposure Report and covering the Final Four. I literally get one day off, and from the 27th to the 5th, I get one day off. Um, but no, maybe two or three, but but yeah, World Exposure Report, NCAA tournament, be tuned in, and then when the WNBA season starts, Winsider, I'll be covering the Portland Fire from there, and I look forward to saying hi to all the fans and all the media covering the Fire and all that stuff that goes around that, and yeah, man, I just love women's basketball, love the way that it's grown. I've been a fan of it since 2020, and just to see the growth of it since then has been just incredible, and to see the growth in media and coverage has just been even more incredible. So yeah, that's just stay tuned for the content because it's gonna be coming out.
Absolutely. Please go give my man Brenden Potts a follow on X. He's amazing. He's passionate again, and very talented, and obviously someone who is covering women's basketball. Also, be on lookout for myself in these arenas. That I will also be trying to cover women's basketball as well and other sports. I want to say, Brenden, you have a wonderful Thursday evening, and again, thank you for coming on my podcast, brother. You and I would definitely be in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
No doubt. You take care.
All right, man. You too.